And we're back. Another episode of the AC Milan Zone podcast. Ozzy, welcome back. The season is actually here upon us. Of course, we played a game, which is on the screen right now. Big win against middle of the table Serie B team. But nevertheless, a win. But it is now officially season started, I would say. Premier League has started. We got some football. We got our fantasy Premier League going. Always key to the beginning of any new season. And now, Serie A is coming. We approach the game against Cremonese. We'll get to that. We'll get to the season preview. But at first, what did you think of the first proper sighting of Allegri's Milan without Allegri on the touchline, as he was, of course, serving his ban after going absolute crazy in his last game as a Juventus
Yep.
manager. What did you think? 2-0 win. It's very much a story of two halves. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, I think it was pretty straightforward in a certain way. How do we describe it best? I mean, I shouldn't say it looked shaky. I think we played some good football. It's definitely a bit of a change from Fonseca and from Conceição.
Mm-hmm.
I think we looked good. 2-0 against a mid-table Serie B team obviously doesn't read fantastic, but at the same time, we've been on our preseason tours. That we have some new signings that sort of came in quite late in the transfer window. Modric, for example, while that was almost done, back in June, it was only he was obviously with Real Madrid at the
Mm-hmm.
club at the Club World Cup, so he came in late. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good game. I think we kind of predicted how it was going to go. Bari had some dangerous shots, and Mike Mignon did well, and we just sort of uh, rode out the game towards the end, I guess. But yeah, I think a lot of positives, and I'm excited for the new season.
Yeah, I thought we looked. This is something you mentioned to me while we were watching the game live. Everyone looked in good shape, which I guess is a little bit
Yep.
of a Allegri trademark. Everyone seemed on point. Leao was looking good. Of course, he only lasted, those handful of minutes, enough to score a goal, a header goal, which is maybe good. It seems like he might. Obviously, he was in the box a lot more because him and Pulisic were holding up the attack by themselves. Um, but I do wonder if we'll see him playing a little bit more central, even when he plays with a Jimenez or Boniface. We'll get to that. Um, or if we'll see him, maybe a lot more against bigger teams or in counter-attack situation as the second striker to a Pulisic and two sort of, false strikers as it may. Um, I think if I had to list my list of players that I saw did quite well, I thought Ricci was excellent. He's been solid the whole preseason, but
Yep.
but he was very good. Afa Fofana was also quite solid. Pulisic is Pulisic. I mean, he's quite solid, but he's literally always solid. He either has a great game or a mid game, but the man very, very rarely has bad games, which is why we love him. And Sademakers, as always, just
Yep.
such a hard worker, covers up so much on either end of the pitch. The ones that, for me, and then I'm curious to get your opinion, look a little lost were Estupinian to me. Could have done a little bit better. Um,
Hmm.
didn't seem all that locked in defensively or offensively. And I wasn't too impressed with Ardon Shahari when he came in. Um, Again, it's too early to tell if this is not he's cooked. But I didn't see as much. Even Modric, the few minutes that he played, seemed comfortable, seemed in control, a couple of good passes. Um, that was the only thing. For the rest, yeah, maybe we could have put away one or two more, especially towards the end, especially
Yep.
with no Okafor. Rest in peace. We'll get to that as well. But I think those were my highs and my lows. Anyone else you thought was looking particularly good or particularly bad?
I thought Tomori played quite well in that sort of right centre back, right back position. I think there's been a lot of fans online that have wanted to try Tomori out on a right back position, especially last season where we had basically no one really, at least on a consistent level.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, like you said, Modric looked very comfortable. I think a couple of journalists have been picking up that when, even though he's brand new to the team and he's been playing quite a lot for a 39-year-old or whatever, for Real Madrid. He's been switched on, a proper professional. He's been grinding it out in training and just seems switched on. And I mean, that's what you get for a Ballon d'Or winner type mentality. Yeah, Leao header goal. That's very rare. I can't remember Leao ever scoring a header goal, and it was for once a proper cross from the right hand side from Tomori, nonetheless.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've been cursed with Calabria's crossing the last 4 seasons, almost. And yeah, overall good performance. And I thought Jimenez looked good. He makes a lot of those runs that you don't really. I guess I shouldn't say you don't see on a football pitch, but I think a lot of people nowadays, especially online fans, will claim that just because a striker doesn't score a goal or assist, he's had a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can have Jokic as an example from the weekend against Man United, but I thought he made some great runs. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he is a fantastic player. I feel like he played a really good game up until the final third, and his decision making is god awful.
Yeah.
But that's just, I guess, that's been our curse with sort of these central midfielder, center attacking midfielder roles that we've had the last few seasons. Is that when we get to the final third, we seem to sort of shit our pants and lose all sort of sort of having composure on the ball and making the right final through pass. So, yeah.
No, agreed. I think that's why Tej was so successful. We'll see if Luka Modric can sort of help with that. One would hope.
Mm.
Um, no, agreed. I thought Jimenez did well also in the link-up play. Obviously, he got an assist. We'll see how he plays. Now that he will likely have more competition. Before we move on, and I see Nishan in the chat, we'll get to the Winter as well in a second. But I was very curious. You mentioned Tomori. He played almost like a fullback. Now, obviously, as we know on a football pitch, anything is very relative. But I mean, he did get the cross in. We did have the 3 center backs, and a lot of time we slot into that, and Salemakas were covering a lot for the other side. But a lot of times he was playing pretty much fullback, and I think we'll see a lot of that, especially in the beginning. We'll see. I wouldn't say he got a particularly great foot on him, but he's not a bad player on the ball. I wonder if that's the decision and the player that he will most likely use, because I don't think we'll be mostly 3 at the back throughout the whole season and throughout most games, until we see the qualities that maybe some of the youngers that we already have in Bartesaghi and Jimenez have, as well as the new Swiss signing. What do you think of that? I thought it was very interesting. I heard some people talking about Tomori playing fullback, but I didn't expect him to be, quite literally a fullback, which for large parts of the game against Bari he played as.
Yeah, no, I think Tomori, we saw it. Obviously, it was excellent for us when we won the Scudetto, and he's been sort of dropping off season by season. But I think Tomori's issue is that he doesn't have like one particular fantastic trait about him. He's just overall quite good, like either on the ball or heading. He's just meh or just sort of bang average on everything. But I think if we move Tomori out to a more of a right back position, you can definitely use his pace because he is quite pacey.
Yeah, he's quick.
To be a
Can be.
center back, can be. We've seen him sprint a lot after defenders, a lot after attackers with our high line during Pioli and Fonseca. But I think in a right back position, we could probably use his attributes, which is quite good on the ball and quite
Mm-hmm.
pacey, rather than him having to man mark like I guess a Vlahovic type player. I guess Vlahovic is a bad example because he's done very very poorly for Juventus. But man marking a Lautaro as a center, like a proper center back. So I'd be excited to see him play more out wide in the back 4 or in this sort of makeshift back 3 that we've got, back 5, back 3, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. On the chat, expectation for Conte de Winter, he was presented, of course, wasn't ready to play the game as we had just gotten him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at least feature against Cremonese. I don't think he'll start, of course, but feature. It's interesting. I think it's hard to say because we don't know exactly how we'll play. If we play a 4 at the back, even if it then means Tomori as a fullback, I think he'll be a sub. Doesn't mean that he doesn't play, of course, but not consistently first choice. If you play through at the back, he might feature a lot and he might get a lot of starts. I think he's
Yeah.
interesting. He's young, a year younger than Chao. Has got great Serie A experience in a tough climate like Genoa, where you have to you face a lot of chances and you have to defend hard, physical. So I'm quite excited. Look, as a Chao fan myself, but you give up Chao and you make 20 million and getting De Winter, I think I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how he plays. Maybe he can play a little bit of right back as well if he does play like the fake right back, like we're talking about with Tomori. But I'm quite curious to see how he does.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the only well, he's a bit of an upgrade when it comes to playing on the ball. Not that uh, Chow wasn't very fantastic on the ball. He is such a big build. We saw him kind of make clumsy touches that led to goals and misplaced passes, and
Mm-hmm.
these sort of half comical own goals that he scored. So yeah, I think make 20 million, get someone in with Serie A experience. Um, Seems to be quite hungry. I guess going from a club like Genoa, not saying
Mm-hmm.
that Genoa is a small club, but like you said, a smaller team to going to a big team. 20, is he 22? I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exciting. And I think I agree that it's hard to predict how we're going to line up. So therefore, we don't really know how much he's going to feature. But like you say, if we're going to be playing that back three of either Tomori, Gabbia, Pavlovic, and De Winter, then we'll see a lot of rotation. Maybe not that we have a fully packed schedule like we had last season, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely for the first couple of weeks, I'm sure he'll feature in a sub
Yeah, agreed.
as a sub.
I think we can move on to maybe transfers because some
Hmm.
personnel has changed since the Bari game. The beauty of the last few days of the transfer market. Before that, I see in the chat thoughts on Pulisic skipping USA national team duty this summer. Um,
Yep.
I mean, obviously, as a Milan fan, I'm happy. It makes sense. I'm sure that there was some rightful anger from the USA fans in terms of gelling. It is also the Gold Cup or whatever it was. So I
Yeah.
don't particularly care if he goes there and he, you know, snaps a leg. It's obviously terrible for Milan. It's obviously terrible for him and therefore the US. Um,
Yep.
I'm sure him and Pochettino have talked about this. He's not one to, you know, rest in general when he doesn't have to. He's not one to walk around the pitch just because he's not interested. So they talked about it. They probably looked at the risk and reward uh, um,
Yeah, they
and
so I
just said
think
no.
in that documentary, Pulisic, or either not in maybe not in the documentary, but an interview afterwards, Pulisic was asked, and Pulisic did. I think Pulisic asked Pochettino, "Hey, I don't really feel like playing the friendlies before the Gold Cup because he's just he's been playing so much for Milan and he
Sure.
has his injury history the last 6 7 years is it's gone better now with Milan maybe, but there were some certain instances where he missed a couple of games and he seemed
For sure.
tired. And I think he had that chat with Pochettino saying that, hey, I don't really want to feature in the friendly games, but I'm very happy to play the Gold Cup. And then Pochettino, I think, just said, hey, we're just gonna have one squad or one roster for both the friendly games and the Gold Cup. So I think it wasn't. It seems like it's obviously in a sports and football documentary might have been pulled up, or the interviews and the anger um, have been dramatized. And I think he has a good relationship with Pochettino and the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
I saw some silly comments saying how many games Pulisic has missed for the USA, and but some of these games, friendlies, and I think some of these kind of tournaments that the US have, they're usually during the during the European football season, and I don't know, like you can really, I don't think UEFA or FIFA have put them in the schedule for European teams. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
club
of course.
teams.
I mean, it's just what happens. I mean, we saw Vinicius, being not called up by Ancelotti because they're playing two games. He'd be suspended for one, and the other one is in Peru, where you have to play. I forgot how many thousand meters above sea level.
Yeah,
It just it's just the nature of the game. I
yeah,
think obviously you want your best player to lead by example, but I think the US will be fine. I think Pulisic is not exactly like a lazy leader. So I think
Yeah, and
he'll
the
be
World
fine.
Cup's next summer, so Pulisic won't have. He would have, if he played those, he wouldn't have had a proper summer this season. Uh, yes, he'll have less games for Milan, but he's gonna have a lot on his shoulders, being a World Cup hosting nation,
Yeah, yeah.
with quite high expectations of the
All
U.S.
eyes on
national team
them.
in general. All eyes are on them. Pulisic is yeah, he is the best player, right?
Yeah, absolutely, for
So
sure.
yeah, it'll be he's gonna have a lot on his shoulders and on his plate for next summer, which is the World Cup, which is even more important. So I think a lot of maybe some fans weren't really thinking about that. That okay, yeah, let's burn out Pulisic for the Gold Cup, make him play for Milan, maybe 45-ish games depending on how well we do in Coppa Italia, and then go straight into the World Cup
Yeah,
feeling tired.
no,
So I
this is. I
think
think it's honestly better for the US. I agree.
yeah,
Captain America will come through. Yes, baby. Yes, we can. Trust. He'll come through. He already has against Bari. I wouldn't be surprised if he already gets on the score sheet against Cremonese. But something that has changed since the Bari game is some personnel. We saw uh, Noah Okafor, who's actually played. I was kind of surprised that they put him in because the rumors were already going around about his transfer. He has left for around 20 million
yep,
euros. He's off to the Premier League. He's off for Leeds. Um, you know, mixed Milan career. He showed some very bright signs when he played against us, and then when he first started with us. Absolute clutch player for us. Many times the man has scored winners or at least very important goals to draw it up in 90 minutes or above. But I think we all expected maybe him to I don't know, flourish a little bit better.
yep,
I think his level. He probably has a couple more levels that he could go in his career. He's not ever going to be a superstar. He also was, caught in a rough moment for us, with the new management and new coaches, and then Leao was getting benched because Fonseca needed to make a point, and so he was being put on without much support, and expected to do something
yep.
that maybe he can't do. But we say buy a good price, I think. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
guess we made money because he only came for, was it like 13 million euros?
mhm,
So we made some money on him. I guess that's how you have how this management looks at it.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't complain. Like he had some strange injuries and muscle fatigue, and apparently he wasn't in form. When for the start of like before last season, he came kind of not trained well, and
mhm.
like you say, it was a rough moment for Milan. It wasn't a great environment to come in. And how old is he? 22 still, like 22, 23. So yeah, good riddance. And he was certainly a clutch player for us. I feel like he scored all his goals were past the 85th minute.
Yeah, I mean those are the minutes he would get, but he
It's
came
true.
he came in, and yeah, the ball seemed to find him whenever we had a crowded box and we needed a goal.
Yeah.
It seemed to bounce around 4 times and then find Noah Okafor.
Mm.
We lose one Swiss man. Thankfully, we have two more in the squad, but still always sad. And that money seems to be funneled straight for a big striker upgrade, and that man pretty much almost officially has been posted on the page already is Victor Boniface from Bayer Leverkusen. This is a big get. I find is a big get because the names that were floating around were either Vlahovic or Hoyland, whoever was more was cheaper, and I think those are
Yeah.
great players. It could be good players, but it was definitely seemed like we were going off the reject bin. Boniface isn't by any means Gyökeres, but the man is 24. He's a proven goal scorer. He's big, and the price is great. We pay about 4 to 5 million for the loan, and have an option to buy him next summer for about 24, 25 is what I read. What do you think of the new striking upgrade?
Yeah, it certainly is an upgrade, and it's strange that he's because I feel like the talks about him came in what, like 4 days ago, maybe
Mm-hmm.
3 days ago, and then now it seems to be somewhat official. I guess they'll present him on the weekend or tomorrow even. So it's strange that he's sort of a plan C or plan D. Yeah, nothing bad against Vlahovic. Vlahovic is on a massive wage packet. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
is it 12 million euros, and he doesn't want to leave that behind. because I don't think Milan would want to cover 12 million euros worth of wages for Vlahovic.
Yeah.
Højlund, apparently he doesn't want to go out on loan, which is fair enough. Um, so certainly an upgrade. It's not like we've got Jimenez now, which we bought last winter for around 35 million, and now we're getting Boniface for a loan option. For, well, let's say the total price eventually would be like 31-ish million euros. I think it's great. He is proven goal scorer. He's a Bundesliga winner, and I saw that a lot of headlines were talking about his injury, how prone to injury he is. But I think I went through it, and it's, yeah, he did his ACL when he was about 20, like 19 years old, when he's still playing for Bodo Glimt, which obviously is terrible, but thankfully at a young age. And last season he didn't miss all that many games, so I'm excited.
No, me too.
It seems like a proper Mr. X that we've
Yeah, I feel like we
Milan
haven't had one
fans
of
have gotten.
those in a while, especially at the striker position. I guess Jimenez
Yeah,
was rather big, but not maybe quite as proven on the big level. Yeah, I mean, this is a
yep,
man that is can score, can assist in the Bundesliga. I think his best year was 2023, 2024.
yep,
Office across the road is very loud. Where I think he played 23 games and got 14 goals. But he's got some Champions League experience. Last season, I think he played 19 in Bundesliga and banged out 8. I'm curious to see, do you think, obviously not from the beginning, but do you think the idea is to have him start over Jimenez or to be the option off the bench?
I think. Good question, because we seem to, again, it depends on what formation Allegri wants to play. Because if we do play this 3-5-2 that we played against Bari, I don't really see Leao being pushed out to that left wing back position. That would be silly. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that's the plan, anyways. But if we're playing with Leao as a winger, then maybe Boniface would be the striker up top. If we play just with one striker, but Allegri does like to use two strikers, so maybe if we play a variation of like a 4-3-3, with Jimenez, Pulisic. I don't know how that's going to work, but
Yeah.
I think Boniface will be starting over Jimenez purely on merit, and also the fact that we're going out to get him, and it's not really. I don't think Boniface would be happy to be a backup striker.
Did,
He plays for a big club, obviously Bayer Leverkusen. I'm not sure why they're selling him. I just feel like I haven't been reading anything about why he's been wanting to leave. I'm not
I
saying
mean,
that.
I think they're cashing in. At a great season, they're cashing in on. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
coaches are
that's it.
gone. A bunch the big superstars are gone. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
just cashing in the
it's a
Atalanta
fire
way.
sale.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know. I could see him definitely start. It would make sense. They've been chasing a striker for a long time. Like even if the talks weren't super hot, everyone always said, yeah, no, Allegri wants a striker. I think he'll definitely get the chance to start over Jimenez. I think we'll see a lot of them early on. Both of them kind of split their minutes, and then it will probably be a consensus of who's hot, which maybe is the right way to
yep,
go. Right? You get striker is very mental. It's a very form leading position. So I think you see either of them banging in a few goals, and they probably are the ones that get the start more often. I also think the striker for a Allegri team is meant to do a lot of work. So it's no problem to have a second one. Also because, as I said, we had literally zero second striker after last season having
yeah.
too many. So having someone off the bench purely just to give energy without a big drop in quality is big. He does, of course, have the African Cup of Nation, which might take him out. I believe last time he wasn't called up because of an injury / a little bit of a beef, if I recall correct, with a player and a coach. Now, if that beef were to
Okay.
continue and it wouldn't be called up in the African Cup of Nation, that would be just delightful. But nevertheless, with Jimenez, you're sort of covered. And in the odd
Yeah.
game where you're down against your Cremoneses of the world, hopefully not, and they're absolutely parking the bus, and you need two tall presence to keep the defenders
Mm,
occupied while you have the two wingers on the side. You put in both, which is an option we didn't have at all. or in a game where maybe Leao is in there, like Cremonese will be. You have both of them. Pulisic can play to the side. Pulisic can play a little bit behind him in a more central role. It just gives you more options. So I'm very excited about this purchase. I was trying to get myself used to, like, okay, yeah, Holland is a good player. He will for sure flourish. So I'm happy because, I mean, Boniface could come and score 3 goals and then leave. But I'm more confident in a possible great season from him than I am from a Hoyland or tired Vlahovic.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
looks
when was the last time we had a substitution that actually was of some sort of higher class as a striker?
yeah. I mean,
I mean, if you think about the different variations of striker partnerships we've obviously been playing a lot with just one sole striker.
yeah.
But I mean, we've had Rebic, who kind of played as a striker sometimes, or more of a left wing. When Ibrahimovic came in back in 2020 or 2021 or 2020, we had Piontek and Zlatan. Then we had
Look, Piontek for
Zlatan.
those 3 games, first 5 games, was as good as Prime Ibra. So that was then for then
Yeah,
then it was gone. But he had those
yeah.
magical
But then
3
since
games.
then, it's been Origi, it's been Jovic, Okafor. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a lot of money, so it's been
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
like, whoever is available for free. And sometimes that turns out
exactly.
great, like Giroud, and sometimes not so much. So it's exciting. There has been rumors that this does not close our market on the attacking front. I don't know what that could possibly mean. Um, I think we're pretty set. I think unless something comes in for like a Chuk, which we've heard there may be a Fulham offer, then maybe we would look at another option there, because I think we probably want 2 for each position. So right now, if we say we have Leao, Jimenez, and Pulisic, their subs would be
Yep.
Chuk for Pulisic, probably Salamanca for Leao, and Boniface for Jimenez. So if that happens, maybe we can see someone coming. There's also been some slight rumors about defenders. I think we're pretty set there, to be honest. Unless we really want to move to just the 3 at the back, then probably maybe another young center back. But I think this will roughly
Yeah,
be it.
or maybe another left back. I mean, I'd be kind of happy to see Bartisagi be the backup left back or left
Same.
wing back. I think he played those few minutes that he has played throughout the last 2 seasons. I thought he's been quite a bright spot. He obviously had a clumsy red card. Was it within the 6 minutes he came on against? I think it was like Parma in like April last season, and then
Yeah.
obviously since after that, uh, yeah, suspension, and then we had Theo coming back, we're playing. So um, I'd be happy with Stupinian and Bartasagi as a backup, but I think if as with the Stupinian's injury history, would we want to be starting Bartasagi, let's say 5-6 games in a row? If Stupinian's hamstring pulls up,
Yeah, the real problem is Supinani staying on the pitch.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're pretty set. We've got Jashari came in, we've got Richie and Modric. I thought I saw some rumors about a bid from Saudi Arabia for Fofana, but I
I
think he looked a lot fitter
I agree.
against Bari, and as long as we don't need him to shoot, then I think we're all right.
Yeah, I think it
Playing
would
him,
have to be so much money for us to last minute take him out.
yeah,
I don't think that will go through, but again, I guess we'll see. They have a lot of money, definitely. So if their mind is set to him, they probably would. I don't think they would even. It's not quite a flashy striker
well,
signing, but
yeah, it's not Darwin Nunes for 55 million euros.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, now we have. I see a lot of people talking about how this changes our expectations for this year. The Boniface get, as long with all the midfield and all the stuff we talked about last episode. So I think we should get into the season preview for the wider Serie A. I think it's a very interesting league. I think it was very interesting last year to try to predict and how it played out. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
very interesting this year. I wanted to talk to you about maybe potentially a top 8 to top 6, let's say, maybe starting from the
yeah,
bottom, because I think there is maybe two big favorites, and then the rest is so many new
It's a
managers,
free for
so
all.
many new signings.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the manager point because I think is it the top. I think 7 teams out of the top 8 from the Serie A last season have changed manager. I don't think that's ever happened
Yeah,
in
I
any of the
mean,
top 5 leagues. I swear.
yeah,
Like even though if it's like a Gasperini who went from Atalanta to Roma,
I mean, it's
you
still
know, it's
huge
not
though.
that big of a change, but it's still a change. Yeah, I mean
I mean, it's a
Gasperini's
massive
been in
change for both
Atalanta
of them.
for
I mean, Atalanta has been Gasperini FC for the longest
yeah.
time. Yeah, I mean, Napoli Conte was gonna
Fun,
go,
funnily,
and then he barely stayed. But
yeah,
Inter
funnily enough, if it was one manager that you'd think was gonna leave, it was
would have
gonna
been
be
Conte
Conte
for sure.
and Conte Sao, of course. And then all of a sudden, yeah, no, now it's Conte the one actually staying out of the top 8. So
So
yeah, predictions,
yeah, I mean, obviously we
favorites.
finished
Who are your
eighth
two
last year, so
favorites?
maybe we can go from there. I
Yeah,
think it's tight. I mean,
it is tight, tight.
so obviously I think we can get to the top later, but I think Napoli and Inter are somewhere in the top four.
Yeah,
Um, I think Fiorentina is interesting. You know, they get Pioli. You know, Pioli is not a superstar, but Pioli is gonna be good. They brought
didn't
in.
they lose? They lost against a college team from I can't remember where the college team is from. I know it's preseason, but it's so typical Pioli as well.
Yes, typical Pioli, and
Yeah,
also, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put too much stock into it.
yeah,
They obviously lost some players in the summer, but you know they gained Edin Dzeko, which was interesting. I think they left some in midfield and VT, but the rest will be roughly the same. We can see if Moise Kean continues to have the incredible time that he had last season. If he's scoring goals like
yep,
that, and you had a player like Dzeko to play off him, that would be very interesting. We'll see how Gudmundsson will do. I was expecting more from last year. He was injured a lot, but if he gets going, that attack is very solid. At the back, we'll see. De Gea will probably still be one of the best keepers in the league, but you know, Viti, Komutsu, Ranieri, can they hold someone back? We'll see. I'm very curious. I don't know if they'll finish top 6 necessarily. They did finish
nope.
exactly in 6th last year, but tied with Lazio and only 2 points ahead of us. Right now, I don't love them. I can see making a play for it. They will have European football, but I think they will be one of the teams that misses out. So I'm putting him somewhere between 7 and 8. And then the other team that misses out of the top 6 for me, this is tough. I'm gonna go ahead and say Lazio. I'm a big Sarri fan. The man is a maniac,
Oh
but he
yeah.
understands football.
He threatened to walk. Was it only 3 weeks into his new contract with Lazio, or his
This
new
is
contract
true,
when he
but
rejoined Lazio?
that's kind of like Sarri core. You know, it's
That is
like
sorry. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Sarri
that's
and Conte
expected.
core. You
It's
gotta flip out to get the
yeah,
max out of him.
yeah,
So I think it's those two. Not because of Sarri, but because who Lazio didn't buy. I guess it's the same thing every year. You're never expecting much from them. Sometimes they pull it together, like last year. They found Nuno Tavares, and that was a big, at least for the first half of the year, huge for them. This year, they lose Chauna, which wasn't a massive loss, but still a loss. I think if I look at the starting 11, I don't think anything has changed. You still have Castellanos. Isaacsen maybe will go. He's still there, and Zaccagni. And then, Guyogun Duzi, Rovella. Yeah, we'll see. I think if they do manage to do well, it'll be because of Sarri. But I think they will miss out. Ooh, we lost Oscar briefly. Let's see if we can get him back. While I talk about Lazio. Ooh, great message from the chat in the meantime while I try to get Oscar back. Ooh, he's gone, I think. There he is. A great message from the chat, Ozzy. I was still talking about Lazio, if you can hear me.
yes, yes. I'm back now.
Yes.
This
Where will
goddamn
Como finish?
accommodation.
Como might be, honestly, I don't think they'll finish near the top 6, but they did finish 10th last year. Not far from us, of course. In points, maybe, but still 10th. I think they got better. I think they can make a push for Yeah, definitely like a Coppa Italia, a decent finish, and make a push to be like a Bologna
Hmm.
situation where if everything goes right, you can make a lower European tournament, or at least be very uncomfortable. What do you think about Como? And then give me your eighth and seventh. I said
Yeah.
Fiorentina and Lazio.
Yeah, so I mean, it's an exciting project that Como have, and they're only getting better and better. I still think they would probably need another season to be pushing properly for a European spot. I feel like they came in last season, did well, obviously finished 10th, and as in any league coming in as being a newly promoted team, that's a big ask. So yeah, I think they probably need another transfer window to solidify some positions and a bit more experience maybe. But I can certainly see them, like you say, pushing perhaps further in the Coppa Italia and sniffing around a Conference League position or a finish. So,
Yeah, agreed.
and like you say, a bit of like a Bologna don't have the massive resources that Como have,
Yeah,
but I say massive, but for a mid-table
yeah.
team,
I mean,
Como
they're
do
spending
have
way
quite a lot
above
of
their
yeah, yeah.
technically their means.
So yeah, and that they got to keep Fabregas because there were some talks in the very beginning of summer that Fabregas was gonna leave, but I think was it the Como chairman that just went out and said Fabregas is under contract. He's with us,
Yeah,
which is kind of fair.
and part
We
owner
see
of the
with the
team.
Isak situation, and we signed part owner of the team. So and Henri, probably texting Fabregas saying like you should probably stay. Um, so I'm excited for them. So I think okay, you said top eight. You want me to predict? You said Fiorentina, Lazio. Fiorentina eighth,
Yeah, we'll
Lazio
give
seventh.
Fiorentina eighth, Lazio seventh. Yeah,
Yes, I don't want this to be boring and that we just sit here and agree with each other because we think pretty much the same. But Fiorentina eighth, Lazio seventh, Como ninth, Bologna 10th.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. Also, yeah, also Bologna lost some players. Yeah, I mean, Como, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think Paz and Diao are fucking ballers, and they added Morata, Dai, Maturin, and Ramon for the back. We'll see. And now this is the spots get interesting. Obviously, sixth and fifth last year, that was Roma at 69 points and Fiorentina at 65. This year, I see
Atalanta sixth.
Atalanta. I see. Oh, it's so tough. I see Atalanta sixth. Big drop from third, because of the Gasperini effect. They have a lot to figure out. Even Juric
The the
comes in.
the
You know,
and the Lookman
the
situation
Lookman
where it's not
situation.
as big as Wissa or Isak for Brentford and Newcastle respectively, but he was told he was allowed to leave, and then what I think Atalanta said, we're happy to sell you for the right price, but just not to a rival,
Yeah,
aka Inter. And Inter weren't really pushing on the price front. If I think I can imagine if they went, okay, here have 70 million euros, they would be happy to sell him
yeah,
for 70 to a rival. But I
yeah.
think it was around the
Inter
50
doesn't
million euro
have that
mark.
kind of bread.
No, they don't. And so again, their main man up front is, he's not been going on strike, I don't think, but it's just not going to be it's not a very good vibe for Lookman coming back. New manager after having Gasperini for the last, 8 seasons. And we've seen all these Atalanta players that have been sold to various parts of the world, and they've just not been performing. So let's see how all these all the Atalanta players perform without Gasperini.
Yeah, fully agreed. Ivan Juric comes in, obviously very experienced Serie A manager, but can definitely take a wrong turn here and there. I'm also curious to see if they do maybe not start the season well and go on a bit of a losing streak or they drop points here and there. How trigger happy is the Atalanta management? It's very easy when you have Gasperini and you do well in general, but also maybe you lose a few, to say, yeah, I mean, no doubt he's our leader, we'll bounce back. Once you have a new coach and you actually have, perhaps some questions about him, what happens if you do drop a few points? Is there a chance that maybe he gets fired early on and then that spirals you into a Milan situation from last year? They also lose Ruggeri to Atletico Madrid. They lose Retegui, who
Yeah,
went
Jesus
to chase the
Christ.
money for a lot of money. I mean, fair. That's good business. They brought
Is that
back.
was I think? Isn't he the biggest, the highest sold Italian player
I think
ever?
I think it might be,
I think I
yes,
read that.
which is fair from Atalanta. I mean, for that
You
price, you
wouldn't have
absolutely
guessed it
sell
was
them.
Reticoli.
Um, to replace
Yeah,
them, they brought in Kristovic from Lecce, which I honestly think is a great replacement, especially when you take into account how much money you get for Retegui and how much money you spend on Kristovic. For the wing, they bought Zalewski from Inter for too expensive. That deal was definitely sketchy. And so we had to see. Sulemana
I
maybe
thought Inter
comes
was
in,
gonna
depending on
wanted to keep.
if Lukman, the whole situation with Lukman. Otherwise, it's going to be a very similar lineup, but with Scamacca, which of course has to stay healthy. But I guess they have Kristovic just in case.
Mm.
But yes,
And
oh, sorry.
I wanted to add on the Kristovic, which that
Yeah, go for it.
can you hear me? Yeah, Kristovic, he means that he leaves Lecce, which means that Camarda will definitely get more minutes now, unless they bring someone else in.
Yes, I thought that too. Will be interesting to see. I'm sure they'll get someone in the end, but I think it's gonna get a lot of minutes. It's also part of his contract or our deal with them, so we'll see. But yes, I'm putting my money on Atalanta missing out
Sixth.
and dropping big because of Gasperini and everything goes on. And yeah, we'll see what Lukman is. I guess he showed up back at training. We'll see. That's gotta be awkward. But nothing that hasn't happened in football before. Number 5, I have Roma. They stay where they were last year. I actually think if someone could way outperform in my list, could be Lazio or could be Roma. Gasperini is maybe very annoying man, but the man knows how to get a team to play football. They did some interesting business. I did hear today, unfortunately, Leon Bali, who Jay just brought in, has pulled a ligament in his very first training. So he's out. We don't know exactly how
Jesus.
long, but what I read was at least 3 weeks to a month. So that's very annoying. That probably means he only misses maybe a couple of games because we do have the international break right after 2 games, which is annoying. But
He was very enthusiastic when he was met by the fans at the airport. He was already chanting Forza Roma or whatever.
yes,
That's tough, man. Oof.
yes. But, Sule, Bali, behind Ferguson, they spent a lot of money on Ferguson, who I get at the PLI, but I mean, last year he had a stinker. But we'll see. I mean, it's still exciting.
Yeah, you don't want to be upsetting 69 Nishon 420 in the chat, knowing that he's Irish with Ferguson. You know he's gonna be the next big thing for Ireland.
And maybe he will be. He seemed very good in preseason. Everyone's very hyped. He's been scoring a lot. So we'll see. Ferguson reminds me of a young Ibra, best player comp. Maybe we'll see. Hopefully not, because otherwise Roma, if they're getting a young Ibra, they're definitely finishing about 5th. Obviously they have Dybala in there. We'll see how much he gets played. They brought in Wesley for the right side and Gilardi for the defense. Look, it's going to be a Gasperini team. Ups and downs, but I think they'll do good. But a lot of players
And
to bring in.
there were some rumors about Kone being sold,
Yes, he
but
was
they
on the way
decided to
to
keep him.
Inter, and that would have been such a weird deal for me. He was so good last year. I was so upset that we
Yeah,
didn't get him, even though we ended up with Fofana, which I'm very happy with. But it makes sense in the end. I think that they kept him. I think it's probably Gasperini. Comes in, and if he likes you, he likes you. If not, you're gone. So maybe
yeah.
that's kind of the
Like
situation.
and
But he's a baller. I love Kone.
Gasperini's yeah, yeah. Gasperini's sort of. I guess Gasperini has that aura about him. He's won a Europa League with Atalanta, and he's a veteran in the Serie A. So if he comes in as a manager and says he doesn't want anyone, that's fair of Roma to be like, you know what, you're out. But I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep Kone.
No,
And
agreed.
obviously
I think he's a baller.
there were some rumors of Sancho going to Roma. That was like for a day. I don't think. I think Sancho's happy on his 250k pounds a week.
Yeah,
I don't
Sancho's
think
such a
Roma
weird
wanted to
one.
cover more than half of it.
I'd
So
honestly be so scared because the way Gasperini just absolutely rescues careers
yeah,
and does magic on players. If you give him a player like Sancho, I think he would be an absolute baller at Roma. But he seems to be not the brightest of stars and be surrounded by a lot of people that are eager to make a lot of money. So he's not interested in rescuing his own career, but rather making the most fees. So I'm happy with that because again, I think Gasperini could turn him into a baller. And yeah, are those also your 6th and 5th, Atalanta and Roma?
Yeah, I think between them two, I think like we said about Fiorentina and Lazio, like they could be interchangeable. But yeah, I think Lazio, Atalanta without Gasperini is, I shouldn't say completely new team, but you never know after being with Atalanta for so long. It's gonna be I shouldn't say a tough season for Atalanta in that sense, but it's going to be a bit of a drop from third last season. So sixth, for sixth or fifth, I'm going to put Atalanta at sixth, Roma at fifth.
Okay, very good. Then finally, Champions League spots, top 4. Who do you have as your number 4? You go first.
I'm going to go Juventus at fourth.
That's what I have too.
You do, yeah. It's crazy that we have the same. The
We
same
honestly didn't talk
predictions.
about this. I
No,
don't
we haven't
believe
spoken
Tudor
about this.
is the way to go. They opt for continuity. He didn't do too badly. But there's a lot of question marks for me about how good of a manager he actually is. They lose Timothy Weah. They sort of sacrifice him to make some money. In return, they gain for free Jonathan David, who could be big, and Joao Mario, who I think are the only two who are bound to start. They look like they still want Kolomani, who is apparently willing to drop his wages, but they haven't done that yet. So it looks like we'll still be a three at the back with De Gregorio, who has shown to be potentially not the greatest goalkeeper of all time. Kalulu, Bremer, Gatti, if they can all stay healthy. I think getting Bremer back will be huge for them. You forget how little they were conceding before Bremer got hurt last year. And
Yeah, they
it was
conceded
none.
nothing up until, when was it? Beginning of November or late October when Bremer got injured, and then the floodgates opened.
Yeah, so I think that could be very dangerous. We'll see how he comes back, and if everyone else can stay healthy. But that could be very, very dangerous, in my mind at least. Joao Mario set to slot on the right. Locatelli and Thuram will probably still be there in the middle. I expect Thuram to take another jump. He is another baller. I think the Fofana, Thuram, Kone in 3 different Italian teams. I love the characteristic of all 3 players. Cambiaso, who's set to leave, stayed. I think he has his downfalls, but he's a baller. And then on top will be probably Conceição Yildiz, who will probably have a bigger role. Who is a very, very good player. He just needs to be consistent. We'll see how consistent he'll be this year behind David.
And they still have Coop Miners.
This is true. We'll see if he ever
And that's
gets rescued.
yeah, but I mean it was that whole transfer saga last season.
Yeah.
With Coop Miners kind of going on strike, and he didn't get proper preparation, and I think that definitely eats into a player with a high price tag.
Yeah. And then
So
every game
that's
you
it.
don't perform, it's added pressure.
Yeah. So maybe it's a completely fresh start, new manager. I guess newish because obviously Tudor came in last season, but a whole summer for Tudor and a whole new summer for Coop Miners. But I still predict them in fourth. I think without Vlahovic, like a proper goal scoring number 9, I think it's gonna affect the squad in a way. I've seen some of Vlavic's misses in preseason already, and on such high wages.
Yeah, I don't even know
and
if
his
he'll play, to be
demands.
honest. They said
Yeah,
they
no, I mean I don't know
might
why
not play him.
I don't know why you would want to play him. He's not been great. He's lost his scoring touch completely. I don't know about his. I mean, I watch Juventus when I can, but I don't think his work ethic is the best either necessarily. He seems to enjoy certain services outside of the football pitch. Going out and visiting certain places in Turin. So
He
I
likes
don't
to
know
bring back
why Juve would want to
4,
start.
5, 6 ladies to hotels, which is, baller.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, I saw some footage. I'm always.
I'm always.
But yeah, I mean, the bench is also thin, right? If he doesn't play, and I guess their hope is, and I think it's going to happen, they do get Colomani, but, who do you have off the bench? But yeah, I mean, they could be good, but yeah, I think 4 is where they land. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, they could also easily finish above us. I'm not saying this is locked in. This is just my best
No, no.
guess. And I do
Yeah,
think, yeah, Tudor will have some
third to
questions.
seventh, third to sixth is just a massive free for all.
Yeah, with so many new
I think in a
coaches,
way.
it's the whole kind of the same thing that I was talking about with Atalanta. What happens if us, Inter, Juve, all of them, maybe not Roma because Gasperini is Gasperini, but what happens if they do lose a few games to begin with? How long does Kivu last? How
Yeah.
long does Tudor last if they're gonna losing streak? It could get dicey for one of them. Hopefully, it's not us, but definitely one of them. But we'll have to see. In third, I have Inter. Big.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, this is different from you. Okay,
I
good.
was gonna, finally, I was gonna say Milan third, which I'd be very, very happy with.
Yes.
I mean, I'd be happier if we finish above Inter, obviously. Again, I think like we've been saying about a whole new, Inter were such a solid team under Inzaghi. Inzaghi certainly had his footprint on the team. There's been obviously some drama over the summer with Çalhanoğlu and Lautaro, and bringing in Shivu, who in Inter's team is a legend from as a player. He is somewhat unproven. I mean, obviously with Parma, was it Parma? Yeah, it was with Parma. He did well, but taking over a team like Inter with Inter's ambitions, where okay, they won the Scudetto not last season, but the season before, two Champions League finals. I think that Inter are expecting to take the next big step and again win the league and be maybe even win the Champions League. Obviously, that's really difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but realistically, Inter should be a Scudetto winning team and yeah, again maybe a final in the Champions League or at least winning it, but instead of bottling it 5-0. Um, but I'm still going to put Milan at third purely because it's so many new players. Um, yes, we're getting good quality for the money, or we're getting money's worth. With Boniface for a 5 million euro loan. Ricci is obviously a proven center mid in Serie A, so it's not that big of a transition. But again, Jashari, young players coming in. Leao already being out for the first game against Cremonese. Not that Leao is massively injury prone, but that's not a great start. I'm gonna still put Milan at third, and then Inter second, and Napoli first.
Very fair. I mean, look, Milan can finish anywhere. I mean, obviously, I think top four would be our minimum target starting the season. But if they fall out of Champions League, I wouldn't be surprised. Again,
Yeah.
we did finish eighth last year. I think for us, a few things that help us is, Allegri. It seems like we have actual management this year. It seems like
Yep.
we're just more ready. We've done our business earlier. We had an actual preseason. We don't have European football, which I think is huge this day and age. And if you think huge in terms of obviously league performance is not great, but it's important for our league performance. I think Inter, they're busy in the Champions League. I don't think Kivu on his first major role will do well. I wonder again if they lose a few games, what will happen. Their business hasn't been great. They got rid of a lot of subs in Buchanan, in Correa, in Zaleski, and so on. I mean, Arnautovic. They brought in, Boni from Parma. They brought in Luis Enrique from Marseille. They just got today their CDM from Lens, but I don't think any of those will start. So you're looking at the same team. It was an old team. It continues to be older. You probably have Frattesi slotting in more maybe as a starter over Mkhitaryan, who's really aging. We did have the beef with Çalhanoğlu and the rest of the team. We'll see how that goes. Shocker that Çalhanoğlu would fight and try to leave. And at the end of the day, this was a team that did so well because of the good players and good management, but mostly because of Inzaghi. Had them playing on a string. He had them playing in his system. The good thing is that they do have continuity. The players are like that. They will probably play a very similar system if Key was a smart man, so they will still do well. But Inzaghi is no longer there. Kivo will have some different things, some different ways to approach adversity. There is also the toll of losing another Champions League final, of losing the league, of losing the Coppa Italia. They were going for the triplete, and then it all just crumbled in a very spectacular fashion. That has to have some sort of mental damage. They did play the Club World Cup, so not a full preparation. That's why I put them at third. But absolutely, if they win the league, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, no, that's a fair analysis. Again, yes, we said in the beginning of the podcast that Inter and Napoli are favorites, but
Absolutely.
because of the manager changes, everything can be turned upside down almost. I guess Napoli being I guess you're putting Napoli first then, if you're putting Inter third and then Milan second and Napoli first.
Yeah, I mean, I had Napoli being first as well, but let me make an argument as to why I think we will win the league.
Yes.
This is look. We've
Yes,
been streaming for an hour.
the delusion is starting.
Over an hour. It's been an hour and 1 minute. This is time for us to get a little bit crazy. Okay. Napoli looking great. Last year, obviously, they did very well. No European football. This year, the European football. Now, Conte usually has pretty bad European campaigns, so maybe they're not in the Champions League for that long, but it's extra games anyway, super long games, or even more games given the long Champions League format.
At least 8 games.
At least 8 games. We see Lukaku got injured. That could be big. Now, they brought in Luka for this reason. They're probably going to get another striker, but he's going to be out, I think, at least a couple months, potentially even more. They did bring in Kevin De Bruyne, absolute baller, but old age. He also is one not to play a lot of games in the last few seasons, and he has, they will have European football. They brought in Noah Lang, could be interesting, from Belgium, but
we were interested in him.
We were last year, but not one to get along necessarily well. So if I'm looking at the top 3, and I'm seeing Noah Lang, Luka, Neres. With Champions League football, am I terrified?
Better chap.
I don't know. Lobotka and McTominay and De Bruyne, that looks great. They brought in Milinkovic-Savic and a new center back. Buongiorno will likely be healthy, which was kind of a same Bremer effect for them. He was huge last year. But and it's a Conte team. They will always be solid. I think Napoli is locked in for a 1 or 2, I would say. But listen, give no European football. We got Luka Modric to their Kevin De Bruyne. We have 2 great strikers. I think both of our strikers are better than their strikers. I think Leao eats Noah Lang for breakfast. I think Pulisic eats Neres for breakfast. If I have Modric to go against KDB, I could live with that. Do I think?
I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, after his hamstring surgery, does not look. I mean, he's still obviously a world-class player, even if he's just left Man City. But I don't think it's going to be that easy in the Serie A. And obviously, there's the running joke of elderly centre mids or elderly players coming to Serie A and absolutely popping off. But I think you're right that Modric at 39, rather have him than De Bruyne at 33.
Yeah, honestly, that. I mean, I actually love Lobotka, so this is not even slander, but Lobotka, McTominay, and then not a super deep bench, or Fofana, Ricci, Jashari, Loftus-Cheek, Musa, who they wanted, and maybe might still even go to Napoli. We'll see how the last few days play out. I don't mind that a little bit. I like our defense. Their defense is solid. I don't know. I think there's a case. I think obviously they're the favorite. If I had to put money on it, I think they win. I think it would probably be wise to put Inter at 2 and Milan probably in the 4 range. But my prediction is for the boys to come in.
We're going to get our second star.
Second Stella.
We're going to get our second star.
Second Stella, most importantly. I think Napoli finishes second, Inter third, Juve fourth. But we'll see. I'm very excited for the league to start again. This is the best time of the year where there's still hopes and dreams. Only for us to drop an absolute stinker against Cremonese and draw 0-0 and Allegri to say, I saw the boys play very well. But for now, it's excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think back of exactly a year ago. I think we did a similar type podcast about predictions and obviously specifically about Milan, but I don't think we were that optimistic last season. Like, it's not super delusional thinking, we're getting Allegri, who's a Serie A winning coach, both with Milan like 12, 14 years ago and with Juventus. Um, I don't think it's too delusional to think that Milan will can win the Scudetto. It's a might, but I think we could have the potential to do so without Champions League, without European football,
Yeah.
a proven coach, some very good signings. Yes, we lost Theo Hernandez and Rangers, which are big, but I've apart from Estupinian, that's obviously a step down from Theo, but I feel like we've done well with the money, seeing that
Absolutely,
we're
yeah.
getting a proper striker to back up or be starting over Jimenez. So that's fantastic. So yeah, I don't think it's too crazy to have these delusional thoughts, but like you say, everything will come crashing down when we lose against Sassuolo or something,
Oh, Sassuolo is back in the
which
league.
is they're back.
Ah,
But if
no.
you think about it, Steph, when we won the league, Sassuolo was in Serie A.
This is true.
When Sassuolo weren't in the league, they were in Serie B instead. We have had a terrible season. So
I guess. Sassuolo is also what got Allegri fired, no? Back in the day? Wasn't that the famous
I
double
think it
defeat
was.
and the Berardi? My God. Not looking forward to facing them.
And
But
then was it
yeah,
Seedorf who came in to replace? I think it was, right?
could be. And that was started the
Yeah.
carousel of the coaches and yeah, Brocchi and all those.
Jesus. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, last year would have been, I don't remember what we guessed, but I think, we all would have known, okay, we're definitely not winning the Scudetto. There
yeah,
were
but
better
we
teams.
also didn't tip.
We bought players at the last minute. There was the Maldini feud. We got the coach in last minute, who was unproven and everyone questions about. Could Allegri play absolute terrible football? Absolutely, but it's much more of a known quantity than others. Um,
Mm.
so I wouldn't
And
put.
I don't think we tipped Napoli to win the league either, right?
This is true. This is true. There was a lot of questions. They did finish. This may be also another good thing for them. They did finish terribly. Had a carousel coaches the year before finished. I forgot if it was eighth exactly, but close.
I think it
Then
was
brought
eighth. Yeah.
in Italian coach, veteran coach, in Conte. Didn't play European football and won the league. It's starting to sound like a recipe that we're imitating. So I'm rocking with it. The
Yeah.
boys are winning the league. You heard it here first. Go put money on it, because I won't. But that'll be it. We've been streaming for way too long, so I think we talk Cremonese
Yes.
and then at least I go to bed. Um, Big first game, obviously
Yeah.
at one that we're supposed to win comfortably, which are the scariest games. If you're a Milan fan, what do you expect?
I think we'll expect a similar type game to Bari. Dominating quite a lot, and obviously Cremonese. Obviously, they've just been promoted to Serie A, so that's what 10 places difference between Cremonese and Bari. We were 20 spaces in between Bari and Milan from last season. I think obviously without Leao, that's gonna be I shouldn't say tough, but we still have Jimenez and Pulisic who can do the job up top. We'll see probably a similar lineup. Maybe I still don't think we'll start Modric. I still think that we're gonna have Richie and Fofana playing. I'm not sure about Ruben Loftus-Cheek
Yeah,
if he's gonna
I don't
start.
think he'll start. Although actually, he actually probably might. The Leao loss is huge, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we do, but I expect Jimenez and Pulisic up top. I think compared to who we played against Bari, um, it'll be a very similar lineup actually. Probably you're not wrong. So I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if Loftus-Cheek does start. I don't know. I'm sure he's going to give Shari quite the keys to the kingdom quite yet. Cremonese did finish fourth last year in Serie B. So not quite a Bari level, because Bari was ninth. But this should be a comfortable win. For me, it will be Serie A is always about the first half. This is a game that you score two in the first 25 minutes. and it's easy going from there on. The moment you see they hang around, you miss a few chances, and then it gets tight, and then you're in the mud, and it's a hellhole. So I'm hoping to see some early goals like we did see against Bari. This is why Leao is such a brutal loss, because we should be able to beat him without Leao for sure. But he's able to provide that early spark like he did. They brought in a lot of players actually. Our former legend Terracciano will be there. Our former legend Bondo will be there. So it's kind of like a Milan B situation. Zerbin up top, Pezzella, Grassi, Bischerotto, Audero in goal. But yeah, I mean, this has to be a win if you're hoping to, like Oscar suggests, make top four, or like I suggest, win the league. It has to be a win. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's one of those games that we would. I mean, we saw last season against the Lecces of the world, that we were just not good enough, and the games we should have won, we didn't win. The games we shouldn't win, we won. In a way, I feel like that was the recipe for last season. Brutal without Leao. So if we're gonna do our first Serie A prediction in terms of scoreline,
I think we should, and then we can go.
Do you want to start off?
No, you start us off. I'm too nervous.
I'm going to do 3-0 Milan.
Big, okay. Scores?
Yeah, I think 3-0. Scorers will be Pulisic twice and Modric off the bench.
Huge first goal. I do think we keep a clean sheet, even though, I mean, Bari could have scored. But I do think we keep a clean sheet. I had 2-0 in mind. I'm not quite bullish like you are. I do think Christian Pulisic scores.
Wait, sorry, you're saying we're gonna win the league, but I don't think I'm gonna go for 3-0 against Cremonese. I love I love that.
No, that's fair. I mean,
no,
it's still a win.
It's 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, 2-0. I think Pulisic, you're right, will score, and then I back El Bebote Jimenez to score. Fuck the haters, Boniface. I'm very excited for you, but I think it's good motivation. Him and Pulisic seems to connect quite well, as I believe Kafka once said, "The Rossoneri always win." No, okay, that wasn't Kafka, but I just wanted to sneak that in there. Yeah, okay, that's all then. I'll see you after the Cremonese game, and before, I believe next is Lecce, before the much awaited international game week, which always comes way too early for Serie A. And hopefully we're celebrating and talking about how incredible we played and how we're going to win the league.
I'm excited.
All right. Cheers, Ozzy. Have a good night.
I am excited. Yeah. See you.
Ciao.